All right, let's dive in. Today we're looking at excerpts from We Are in Heaven, How Humanity Creates Hell Out of Paradise.
Oh, interesting title.
It is,
Yeah.
right? It's by WaXhira, founder of the Sacred Atlantean Brotherhood. And this book, it just straight up says we're already living in heaven.
We are, but we just don't see it.
Exactly. We're kind of blind to it.
Hmm. That's a pretty bold claim.
It is. But I think it'll be really fun to unpack these ideas, see where they lead us.
Okay, I'm game. Where do we even begin with something like that?
Well, WaXhira talks about how our perception of reality is a lot of times like an illusion.
Okay, yeah. Like we're trapped in the Matrix or something.
Right, exactly. The Brotherhood actually uses that term, the Matrix, to describe it.
Huh. So it's like we're wearing those VR goggles, right? Only seeing a limited view.
Yes. A limited and sometimes like distorted version of what's actually there.
Okay, I can see that. But how does that connect to being in heaven already?
That's where it gets really interesting. So
Yeah.
WaXhira and the Brotherhood, they really emphasize that our true essence is like pure spirit.
Divine spirit.
Yes,
Yeah.
divine spirit. They even quote from Acts, in God we live, move, and have our being.
Okay, yeah, I remember that.
So they're saying heaven isn't a place.
It's more like a state of being.
Exactly. A state of being, a recognition that we're already divine.
Okay, I'm following so far. But if we are these like divine beings living in this heavenly state, why does life feel so, well, not heavenly sometimes?
That's the million-dollar question now. WaXhira says it all comes down to choice.
Choice.
Yeah, like our focus, our thoughts, our choices, they actually create the reality we experience.
Whoa, hold on. So you're saying like if something bad happens, it's my fault?
No, it's not about blame. It's more about understanding that we have this incredible power to shape our experience.
Well, if I'm understanding right, if we align ourselves with, say, love and compassion, we start to see things differently.
Exactly. We start to see the beauty and the good that's already there, even when things are tough.
Huh. That's interesting. So it's like choosing to focus on the silver lining, even when it's hard to see it.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. But it's more than just positive thinking. It's about actually shifting our perception.
Okay, so how do we actually do that? Especially when things are, really rough.
Well, that's something we're going to explore as we go deeper into the book. But for now, just think about this. How much time do you spend focusing on what's wrong?
Ooh, that's a good question. Probably more than I realize.
Right. And what if we could, even for just a few minutes, consciously choose to focus on what's right instead?
Huh. It's like training our brains to see things differently.
Yes, exactly. Now, speaking of seeing things differently, WaXhira uses a really interesting metaphor to illustrate this whole concept of choosing our reality. The Garden of Eden.
Oh, the Garden of Eden, that's a classic.
It is. But the Brotherhood's take on it, it's a little different from the traditional interpretation.
Oh, really? How so?
Well, they see the Garden of Eden not as a literal place, but as a metaphor for the human journey.
Okay, break that down for me.
So, eating the forbidden fruit, it's not about disobeying God. It's about entering a state of duality, where we start to see the world in terms of opposites.
Opposites, like good and bad, light and dark.
Exactly. And that duality, that separation, it's what makes us blind to the oneness of everything.
The oneness of creation, the heaven that's always present.
Yeah. So it's not that we got kicked out of paradise.
You just sort of forgot how to see it.
Yes. We got lost in this illusion of separation. And that's where it gets even more interesting. Remember the part about Adam having to toil and sweat?
Oh yeah, poor Adam. All that hard labor just for eating some fruit.
Right. But WaXhira doesn't see that as punishment. They see it as the inner work we all have to do to transcend this illusion of separation.
So it's not literal sweat and toil,
Yeah.
but the effort we put into evolving, into remembering who we really are.
Exactly. It's that internal struggle to break free from the limited view of ourselves and reconnect to the divine.
Wow. Okay, so it's all about inner work. What does that look like for you?
That's a great question, and I think it's different for everyone. But for me, right now, I think it's about letting go of this feeling of being overwhelmed by all the negativity in the world.
And that brings us to another really important idea in WaXhira's work, reclaiming our divinity.
Ah, yes, we are made in the image and likeness of God.
Exactly. But WaXhira believes that we suffer because we forget this. We get so caught up in our limitations, our thoughts, our emotions, that we lose sight of who we truly are.
So we create our own personal hell by forgetting we're actually in heaven.
It's a mind-blowing concept, isn't it?
It really is. But how do we actually reclaim this divinity?
That's where WaXhira gets really practical. They offer a bunch of tools and techniques to help us bridge that gap between the concept and the actual experience.
Okay, now that's what I'm really interested in. How do we take these big ideas and make them a reality in our everyday lives?
Well, for starters, WaXhira talks about the importance of daily meditation.
Oh, meditation. I've tried that, but I'm not very good at it. My mind just won't quiet down.
I hear ya. But WaXhira actually addresses that. They say the point of meditation isn't to completely empty your mind, which, let's be honest, is pretty much impossible for most of us.
So then what is it about?
It's about shifting your relationship to your thoughts.
Shifting my relationship to my thoughts.
Right. It's like, imagine a river, right?
Right.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
Our thoughts are like the current constantly flowing. We don't have to jump in and get swept away by every thought that passes.
We can just watch them go by.
Exactly. Just observe the flow.
I like that analogy. Makes meditation seem a little less scary.
And WaXhira gives some really helpful tips for how to cultivate that observer perspective, like focusing on your breath,
Okay,
noticing the sensations of the breath coming in and out.
so giving your mind something simple to focus on instead of chasing after every random thought.
Yes. And when thoughts do come up, which they will, you just acknowledge them and gently bring your attention back to the breath.
Okay, I'm feeling more hopeful about meditation now. I think you'll be surprised how much easier it is when you approach it this way. And remember, consistency is key. Start with just a few minutes each day and gradually increase it as you feel more comfortable.
That sounds doable. So meditation is one tool. But what about love and forgiveness? We talked about letting go of grudges, but is there a more proactive way to cultivate love and compassion, even for people who are hard to love?
There is. And WaXhira actually introduces a practice for this called loving-kindness meditation.
Loving-kindness meditation. I've never heard of that.
It's a beautiful practice where you cultivate feelings of loving-kindness and compassion, starting with yourself.
Okay.
And then you gradually extend those feelings outwards, first to loved ones, then to neutral people, and eventually even to those who you might have conflict with.
Wait, you're sending loving thoughts to people who have hurt you.
It sounds tough, right?
Yeah.
And it can be challenging. But remember, it's not about condoning their actions or pretending everything's okay. It's about recognizing their humanity, even if they've caused you pain.
So it's more about acknowledging their struggles and wishing them well.
Exactly. And what's really amazing is that by extending compassion to those who challenge us, we actually cultivate a deeper sense of peace and understanding within ourselves.
So we're breaking free from that cycle of anger and resentment.
Exactly. And WaXhira says this practice can have a ripple effect, not only transforming our internal state, but also influencing the energy we bring to our interactions with others.
I'm starting to see how all these practices, meditation, gratitude, forgiveness, loving kindness, are all connected.
They are. They're all tools for shifting our perception and tapping into that divine essence within us.
It's not about being perfect, is it?
Not at all. It's about the journey, the continual practice of aligning ourselves with love, compassion, and that deeper truth of who we really are.
It sounds like a lifelong journey, but a beautiful one.
It is. And while it's an individual journey, WaXhira also talks about the importance of community and interconnectedness.
Community. I always thought of spirituality as a solo pursuit.
It can be, but WaXhira makes a really interesting case for how connecting with like-minded people can support and accelerate our spiritual growth.
I'm really curious to hear more about that.
Me too. And that's actually something we'll dive into in the next part of our deep dive. We'll explore how coming together with others can actually help us experience heaven on earth.
I can't wait. This is all so fascinating.
Yeah.
So we left off talking about all these amazing tools for shifting our perception.
Yeah, gratitude, forgiveness, all that good stuff.
It's like we're building this toolkit for, spiritual transformation.
One practice at a time.
Yeah.
And I think we should probably go back to meditation for a sec.
Yeah, we kind of glossed over that.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's one of those things I've always struggled with. My mind just races. I get distracted. It ends up being more frustrating than peaceful.
Oh, yeah, I totally get that. A lot of people feel that way. And actually, WaXhira talks about that in the book.
They do.
Yeah, they say the goal of meditation isn't to empty your mind completely.
Which is pretty much impossible.
Pretty much. It's more about changing how you relate to your thoughts.
Okay, so instead of trying to force those thoughts away.
You learn to observe them without getting caught up in them.
So it's my thoughts are there, but I don't have to engage with them.
Exactly. WaXhira uses this great analogy of a river.
Okay, yeah.
Our thoughts are like the current, always flowing, but we don't have to jump in and get carried away. We can just stand on the bank and watch.
I like that. That makes meditation seem a lot less intimidating.
Right. It's not about fighting your thoughts, it's about observing them. And WaXhira gives some really practical tips for how to do that, like focusing on your breath.
Ah, yeah, the breath.
Yeah, just noticing the sensations of breathing in and out.
So it's like giving your mind something to focus on that's simple and neutral.
Exactly. And then when thoughts do come up, which they will, you just gently bring your attention back to your breath.
Okay, I'm actually feeling inspired to try meditation again.
I think you'll be surprised how much easier it is when you approach it this way. And remember, consistency is key. Just start with a few minutes each day and build up from there.
I can do that. So we talked about meditation, but what about love and forgiveness? We talked about letting go of grudges, but is there a way to be more proactive about it? To actually cultivate love and compassion, even for people who are, difficult?
There is. WaXhira talks about this practice called loving kindness meditation.
Loving kindness meditation, what's that?
It's this really beautiful practice where you cultivate feelings of love and compassion. You start with yourself, sending yourself well wishes, and then you gradually expand that outward. First to loved ones, then to neutral people, and eventually even to those who you might have conflict with.
Hold on, so you're sending loving thoughts to people who have hurt you.
It sounds tough, I know. And it can be really challenging. But remember, it's not about condoning their actions or pretending everything is fine. It's about recognizing their humanity, even if they've caused you pain.
So it's about seeing them as people who are struggling too.
Exactly. And it might sound crazy, but by extending compassion to those who challenge us, we actually create more peace and understanding within ourselves.
It's like we're breaking free from that cycle of anger and resentment.
Yes. And WaXhira says this practice can have a ripple effect. Not only does it change how we feel inside, but it also affects the energy we bring to our interactions with others.
That's amazing. I'm starting to see how all these practices, meditation, gratitude, forgiveness, loving kindness, they're all connected.
They are. It's all about shifting our perception and connecting with that divine spark within us.
It's not about being perfect.
Right. It's about the journey, the continual practice of aligning ourselves with love, compassion, and that deeper truth of who we really are.
Yeah, it's a journey, that's for sure. But it's a beautiful one.
Absolutely. And while it is a very personal journey, WaXhira also emphasizes the importance of community, of connecting with others.
Community. I always thought spirituality was more of a solo thing.
It can be, but WaXhira believes that connecting with like-minded people can really support us on our journey.
Huh. That's interesting. I never thought about it that way. How does that work?
That's a great question, and it's actually something we're going to explore in the next part of our deep dive. We're going to talk about how community can actually help us experience heaven on earth.
Ooh, I'm excited to hear more about that. Welcome back. We're wrapping up our deep dive into We Are in Heaven, and last time we were talking about something pretty intriguing.
Community, right.
Yeah, it's kind of a new idea for me that community is like essential for experiencing heaven on earth.
I know. It's not how we usually think about spirituality, but WaXhira really emphasizes that our journeys are all connected.
So it's not enough to just do the inner work on our own.
Not quite.
Yeah.
Real transformation, the kind that creates heaven on earth, happens when we come together.
Okay, so what does WaXhira say about how community helps us experience heaven?
Well, they talk about how it helps us break free from that illusion of separation, the matrix.
Yeah.
And they use this beautiful metaphor of a garden.
A garden?
Yeah. Imagine a garden with all sorts of flowers, all different colors, different shapes, different scents. It's more beautiful because of that diversity, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Way more interesting than just a garden full of roses.
Exactly. And just like those flowers, each of us has unique gifts and talents.
Okay.
So when we come together, we create something much richer than we ever could alone.
It's like we need each other to fully blossom.
Yes. And by supporting each other's growth, we actually speed up the process. It's like a synergy thing, where the whole becomes greater than the sum of its parts.
I'm starting to get it.
Yeah.
But we don't always see each other as allies, do we? We get caught up in competition, comparison.
It's easy to fall into those traps, and WaXhira acknowledges that. Creating real community takes work. It takes compassion, understanding, listening to each other.
So it's not just about being in the same room together.
No, it's about creating a space where people feel safe, nurtured, where they can be vulnerable and share their struggles and celebrate their wins.
It's like those groups of friends who really lift each other up. They create their own little pocket of heaven.
Yes, exactly. And those little pockets of heaven, they can spread outwards, influence the bigger community.
Wow, that's powerful. So by building these loving relationships, we're actually helping to create heaven on earth on a larger scale.
Exactly. Our choices matter. Our actions have ripple effects. When we embody love and compassion, we become agents of change.
We started this whole deep dive wondering how we could be in heaven when there's so much suffering in the world.
And it turns out heaven isn't a place, it's a state of being, something we cultivate within ourselves and with each other.
Wow, that's beautiful. And a little bit mind-blowing. It makes you feel hopeful, doesn't it?
It does. We have the power to create a world that reflects the harmony and beauty of heaven.
And it all starts with our own choices, with our commitment to doing the inner work, and with our willingness to come together in love and support.
Absolutely. It's been such a joy exploring these ideas with you.
Thank you. It's been an amazing journey. And I think what I'm taking away from all of this is, even though the task of creating heaven on earth might seem huge,
We can start small.
yeah, we can start by cultivating those little pockets of heaven in our own lives through our daily practices and our relationships.
Perfectly said. Embrace the journey. Be kind to yourself. And remember, even the smallest acts of love and compassion can make a world of difference.
Thank you so much for joining us for this incredible deep dive into We're in Heaven. We'll see you next time. And until then, keep seeking, keep growing, and keep creating your own little piece of heaven on earth.